Andy Reid. Is he coming back? Now, we talked yesterday about the things he said right after the game. He said, I haven't even thought about that yet, which made us think, well, there's something to think about. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to take away from the aftermath of the Super Bowl by saying, oh, by the way, I'm out, because then that completely takes away the celebration for the Kansas City Chiefs. Here he is from yesterday, press conference morning after the Super Bowl, with the question and his answer on his future in Kansas City.
I think I understood you to say after the game last night you're coming back for another season. Is that right?
Yep.
All right.
To hang with you.
We are. Good reason then.
That's it.
Why not ride off into the sunset at this point for you?
You know, Adam, I honestly haven't even thought about it, but I get asked it. I mean, I'm still kind of in awe of the game and what went on there. So I really haven't thought why or what or anything else, but people keep asking me. And I keep saying, why did Belichick and Pete retire? You know, those guys, they ask those old guys a question, but I'm the old guy now. So I guess I'm going to be asked that. But I really haven't gone there. I haven't really thought about it.
Okay, that's the story from his perspective. And this may all just be some sort of a weird sitcom misunderstanding. I mean, the premise of every episode of every sitcom that's ever been made is that there's some misunderstanding that happens in the first 5 minutes that's magically resolved in the final 5 minutes. And this may just be that Clark Hunt, the owner of the Chiefs, never went to Andy Reid and asked him point blank, are you going to come back after the 2023 season? And I want to go back to what we were talking about yesterday, because I got all these Chiefs fans on social media who think that I made this all up. Hey, folks, first of all, I've been doing this 23 years. Like, if I was making stuff up, I don't think I would have lasted this long in this business for 23 years. You're going to make stuff up. And second of all, if I was going to make stuff up, it would be a hell of a lot more interesting than the Chiefs think Andy Reid could retire after the season. Because that's how this all started. And it wasn't just Clark Hunt sitting around his office saying, gee, I wonder if Andy Reid's going to retire. It was Clark Hunt taking action to line up potential replacements in the event that Andy Reid retired after the season. Now, why would Clark Hunt be lining up potential replacements if he didn't think Andy Reid might retire after the season? We're not rooting for him to retire. We're not saying he's going to retire, folks. I'm peeling back the curtain a little bit. And one of the reasons I'm pissed off is my good buddy Nick Wright trying to start some stuff on social media when he's got my number. All he's got to do is call me. If he wants to talk about why I'm saying this, I'll have a conversation with him off the record. Don't start trying to poke me on social media, try to prod me into a fight. I'm not going to take the cheese there, Nick. You know how to reach me. If you want to talk about it, if you want to twist my tail about it and have some fun, I don't care. But if you really want to know what's going on, if you're really curious about why a guy who's been in this business 23 years and been somewhat successful at it would just be saying this out of the blue, putting his reputation on the line by putting this out there, if you want to know a little bit more about it, a little bit more than what I just said, text me, call me, we can talk about it. You don't have to try to start something on social media to try to get me to, engage with you, and maybe you're going to have more followers than the 616,000 you have. I mean, I don't know why else he would do it. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Chris, you know more, I know more. We're not just throwing darts here. And if he decides to stay, great for the Chiefs. But this all comes back to the Chiefs believing that he might and thinking about what would be next if he does.
Right. That's listen, I got your back there. Nick Wright, got respect for him. But yeah, Nick Wright, I mean, anybody else out there, this is something that, I'm aware of as well. It goes back to, past this last season. It's to last off season. That's what I don't think people are understanding, and that it was out there as far as, I don't know what Andy Reid said or how he broached the conversation with the higher-ups of the Chiefs organization. But obviously they felt like, ooh, there could be a chance. And that's what we know. And we know that they did reach out to people to let them know there might be a chance Andy Reid might call it quits after the season. Bottom line, that's just the facts of the matter. Now, what we've seen here yesterday and everything else, it surely sounds like a guy that's not going to retire, in my opinion. And as we talked about all the time, I mean, wow, it would be hard to retire right now. I mean, Andy Reid, I don't want to say he become the villain, but, yeah, you got a chance to do some really epic, special, as his quarterback said, legendary things here right now. I mean, he's climbing up the all-time ranks, and hey, we talk about everybody else's legacy. We've hit on, of course, Mahomes. Andy Reid is officially up in the upper room in the Hall of Fame with Don Shula and Tom Landry and Chuck Noll and Bill Walsh and Belichick, of course, the 5-6 greatest coaches of all time, Vince Lombardi. That's where he is, right? But yeah, I don't get the sense he's going to retire at this moment, not right now. And like we talked about too, I think they're only going to get better with this young football team, and the fact that they can add to some of the holes they had on their roster this year. That's where I fully expect to see Andy back.
He's already in 4th place with 258 wins. I assume that's just
incredible.
Regular season. And he's got Bill Belichick, George Halas, and Don Shula in front of him. So he's moving, and he's got a guy that's going to give him double-digit wins every single year. You got 17 games, too. You got an extra game beyond what you used to have, and you got a quarterback who's going to deliver for you 10 or more every year that you keep going if you choose to pursue that. So maybe it was just a crazy misunderstanding. Maybe Andy said something to Clark that made Clark think, oh, man, this may be it. I better be ready. I better have a plan. I got this great quarterback. I need to have a great coach to pair with this great quarterback. So instead of waiting for it to happen and being caught flat-footed, we're going to be ready a year in advance for what may come if this is indeed the final season for Andy Reid. That's where it all came from. What am I supposed to do if I hear that? You want me to keep that quiet, folks? You want me to say nothing about that if I hear something like that credibly, or do you want to know about it? I would think you'd want to know about it. I'd want to know about it. Now, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'd rather not hear it. But if you want to know what's going on in the NFL, you can't just pick and choose the things you want to hear and the things you don't want to hear. I mean, if you want to plug your ears and say, la, 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 not listening, that's fine. But we're trying to tell you what's happening. And the other side of this, too, and I think this is a point Nick made, nobody else is talking about this. Well, let me take you back to 2 years ago when Chris and I were the only ones talking about what the Dolphins were trying to pull with the Tom Brady, Sean Payton 2-for-1. And nobody else was talking about that. And, what ultimately happened with that, Chris? I'm not sure that I remember. What happened when we were the only ones talking about the Dolphins trying to get Tom Brady and Sean Payton for 2022 when no one else was talking about it?
Right. Well, it finally came out. Once we got closer to the season, everybody started to realize it. And hey, those
they got
two
whacked
idiots
for tampering.
At Pro Football Talk. Yes, whacked for tampering, right? I mean, lost a draft pick, paid money and a fine, ended the dream of Brady and Sean Payton down there in Miami. That was it.
And what drives me crazy about this, but I'm used to it. I mean, as long as the check clears, I don't care. But if Andy Reid doesn't retire for 2024, there will be that segment of Chiefs fans that will just write off everything I said as 100% made up, fabricated, or wrong. And if he does retire, they'll just say, oh, he made it up anyway. He just got lucky. So, again, as long as the check clears, I don't care. This is what we do. We bring you the information that we believe is credible and reliable. If you choose to reject it, that's your business. If you choose to ignore it, that's your business. If you choose to say it was all made up, that's your business. This is our business, and we think we know what our business is. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.